Hey everybody, today I want to talk to you about gardening. I know it's still January. I get it, it's almost February. But I'm doing this early for a reason, okay? I've had several comments from people that have stated in the last several videos because of worrying about, the grid going down or just bad stuff happening and food. And I had people make the comment that when it comes to growing their own food, they don't have the space for that. They don't have room where they live. Like half of them, most of them that I talk to live in the city. They don't have, a half acre, an acre to plant a garden or a quarter acre to plant a garden. They just don't have that kind of space. They live in the city. So I have your solution. Okay, so hear me up on this. Now, to let you know, because I don't want to hear this and have to, go through a lot of unnecessary comments. I'm from Los Angeles, and then I moved to Orange County, and then I moved to Seattle, okay? I've been around, and I've always lived in the city. So I know the city. I know what's available. I know what kind of houses there are and condos there are and tract homes there are and, gated communities. I've been there, done that. I know it, okay? And I also know that the majority of the people have a backyard. A lot of the people have a backyard that has a garage behind their house and a driveway that runs along the side. They open up gates, drive their car back to the garage. They have a driveway. I also know, at least everybody on my block, nobody ever used their garage for the car. It was too much of a hassle. They just parked two cars in the driveway, and that's about as far as it ever got. They didn't use the back half of the driveway going to where the garage is at. So there are definitely people that this is going to speak to more so than others, but it doesn't require having a driveway with a garage in the back. Just hear me out. All right. It's called straw bale gardening. Now, we've done this for 4 years, and we have never been disappointed. It's outstanding. So hear me out. Gardening, regular gardening, obviously you have to have land. You have to have a plot of land somewhere, okay? You have to till that land. You got to work the dirt. You have to, unfortunately, use chemicals a lot of the time. You have to make your rows and plant all your stuff and have your little ravines where the water goes in, okay? It is a lot of work. For you that haven't done it, it's a lot of work. For those of you that have, you know what I'm talking about. Now, you get used to it. Anything's easy when you know what you're doing and you get used to. Our house sits on 5 city lots, so we have a lot of yard, okay? A lot. What we call our backyard, our neighbor came over. He is a farmer. Everybody around me is farmers. We live in Farmville. But he's a farmer, and anyway, his son came over and tilled a very large portion of our backyard for us on our first garden. You want to know what I remember? I remember it being a pain in the butt. Constantly, you had to put wire around, had to keep the raccoons out. We had to keep the rabbits out. We had little foxes all the time that are in the yard lot across from us. It's not a yard, it's just land across from us. It was just a lot of hassle. Not only do we have that hassle, but just tending the garden alone, constantly having to weed and get stuff out of it because it was the first time gardening with that when it was tilled. The soil wasn't really worked real well, and it just didn't produce very well. Now, we had watermelons coming out our ears, and we had a lot of zucchini, but the other things just didn't work very well. And just tending that garden regularly was a lot of work. And I told my wife, I'm not cut out for this. I don't have patience to do this. Short attention span. I just don't have it for doing that. Well, anyway, then we came across straw bale gardening, and that's what we tried. And then we've done it for the last 4 years in a row. I love it. My wife told me she didn't really want to do this year because we're looking to move, we're trying to move, and she didn't want to go through all that and then move and stuff. And I'm kind of putting my foot down. I like it, and I want to do it. again this year. We'll always garden. This just might be a bad spring for us, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. So if you have a concrete slab in your backyard, a patio, okay? If you got a patio, brick patio, flagstone patio, whatever you got. If you have a patio in your backyard that isn't against your house, like in your backyard, or you have a driveway that runs along the side, you guys would have the best options because you can put your straw bale right on the concrete. Straw bale gardening does not require any soil, no dirt, okay? It doesn't require any. So if you could sit your straw bale directly, several straw bales, I generally recommend people start with at least 4, maybe 5, if they're going to do it for the first time. Put your straw bales on the concrete, then you don't have to have any concern about weed barrier, your grass dying under the weed barrier, that kind of thing. So if you're going to put it on the lawn in your backyard, then you need weed barrier down because you don't want weeds growing up through your, in between your straw bales or through the straw bales, because that could happen. The whole idea of this is to make it easier. So put some weed barrier down if you have to. Then all you have to do is treat the straw bales for 10 days. 10 days. What you're going to do is you're going to water them, and your neighbors, if they see you doing it, are going to think you're an idiot. They're going to be like, why are they watering straw bales? Straw does not grow when you water it. My farmer neighbor, his face expressions were priceless before he finally couldn't take it anymore and then asked me what I was doing. It was like day 4, I think. It was hilarious. Every time he'd leave in the morning, I'd be out there watering, and I was just laughing. It was great. Okay, so what you got to do is you water them thoroughly, the bales, for 3 days, every day for 3 days. You want to get them really, really, really soaked. Okay, so you do that, and then on day 4 through 9, what you're going to do, for the first 3 days, you're going to sprinkle a half a cup of nitrogen fertilizer on the tops of the straw bales and then water them. You're going to sprinkle it on, cover it, pretty well, and then, well, a half a cup worth. You don't do more than what it says. A half a cup across the top, sprinkled out really well, pretty evenly. Water, and you do that for 3 days as a half a cup. And then you're going to drop down to a quarter cup for the next 3 days. A quarter cup each, and then water, water, water. And then day 10, just watering. Okay, and day 11, that's when you transplant, or, like if you go buy starts of whatever, they come in little plastic things. You just take them out, spread the straw bale open, stuff the plant down in there, or put your seeds in, whatever it is you're going to do. That's all you got to do. It's amazing. There's no soil to take care of. There's no weeds coming up through your gardens. Nothing like that. And when you're done, you just dispose of the hay bale. Now, the reason this works and the reason you don't need any soil is because by putting the nitrogen fertilizer on it and then watering it, now you do have to be very specific on your fertilizer, nitrogen fertilizer, and then watering it, that fertilizer goes down into the straw, and what it does is it gets really, really warm. Now, it can't catch fire, but it gets very warm. You put your fingers down in there, you're supposed to, and check it and make sure that it's getting warm, and you can feel the difference of temperature when you shove your fingers down in the straw bale. Okay, it will get very, very warm, and what it's going to do over that 10-day period is it's going to decompose those straw bales in the middle. Basically, they become compost in the heart of the straw bale, and your plants grow in that, and they thrive, okay? Our plants always go over the straw bales considerably, and just produce fantastics. Now, I'm going to put some pictures here for you to see when I'm done talking so you can see what they look like. I would also suggest that you put like 4 feet in between the rows at least, because you're going to have to walk up and down the rows to water your plants regularly, water your garden. And also when you go to get the crops of whatever the bounty of whatever you made have grown, excuse me, you got to be able to walk in between them and get that. So you're going to want about 4 feet at least in between each straw bale. Don't put them up close or you're not going to be able to walk in between, because depending on what you plant, it's going to overflow down onto the ground and then keep growing. That's why if you're growing on grass, you want to put down weed barrier. I doubled our rows of weed barrier. That was just me. You only got to put 1. I doubled them. I wanted 2 rows thick of weed barrier because I don't want to deal with weeds. I'm just not doing it. So I don't have time to pick weeds. So that's what makes straw bale gardening so fantastic. All right, so I guess you probably get the idea, and I don't want to ramble too much, but you folks in the city, I'm doing this video early for you to give you time to think about straw bale gardening, putting a few in your backyard. Maybe you just want to grow some strawberries. Maybe you just want to grow some zucchini and squash, or, you know, whatever. I don't know what you want to grow, but it gives you an opportunity to start planning that out. And if finances are an issue, start saving a little bit between now and spring for when you can start this. It takes up only as much space as you want. You could just get 1 hay bale, one straw bale, and then maybe you only want 3 things of plants. You know, maybe you want some strawberries, some cucumbers, and I don't know what, some hot peppers. I don't know what you want. But, you know, they suggest 3 plants per bale. Now, my wife's, after 4 years of doing this, she does 4 plants per bale, and it always comes out okay. But they suggest 3. So I'm telling you 3 plants per bale. So, you know, you just got to figure out what you want. Remember, each plant's going to produce a lot of food. Okay? Probably, in most cases, more than any one family's going to want to eat. We always give ours away. And I live in Farmville. And we take boxes to church, to our neighbors. And of course, you know, that's a normal thing around here because, you know, farming, you get a lot more than just the amount that you need to eat for your specific family. That's part of the reason we increased the size of our garden so that we could help other families and give them some food that needed it. So anyway, that's it. Scope out these pictures. And thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for talking back and forth with me. I enjoy the comments and the interaction. You guys are awesome. So I hope you guys have a great week, and we'll have another video out soon. If you like the video, thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. Click the bell up there so that you get notifications when a new video comes out. And please subscribe. If you subscribe and you like the channel, please tell your friends. Definitely trying to grow the channel, and I appreciate all of you guys. It's been awesome so far. So that's it. You guys take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.